Is it proper for a lady to request for extra meal in a restaurant? That is our question of the day, and our guest on today's show will be giving us his response to that question. You can also join our conversation on this thread. I am your host, Ike Nwachiku, and I welcome you to today's edition of our talk show, Impact Formula. Analysis of our society's diaries, ASD, is on today's menu, where we dissect issues of our society. It is with great pleasure that I welcome our guest on today's show, Mr. Daniel Braide. Mr. Daniel Braide is arguably the hottest on-air personality with Nigeria Info in Port Harcourt. Mr. Daniel Braide, you are welcome to our talk show.
Thank you very much. Arguably is the word. Arguably, yes.
I like arguably.
Arguably, yes. Because there are many others doing a good job. So, arguably, yes.
Okay.
I agree with arguably.
Beautiful. Now, how do you say welcome in your dialect?
We'll say Ibote.
Ibote.
Ibote, yeah. That's
Where,
welcome.
Where is that?
That's Calabar. It's from River State. So we say Ibote.
Oh, Mr. Daniel Ibote. Nice one. Now, the build up to this talk show, you mentioned you're a Man U fan.
Oh yes, for about 22 years now.
Is it like?
Yeah, 22 years.
Okay, let me ask you. Sack Van Gaal, keep Van Gaal. Which side of the divide are you on?
Sack Van Gaal. he's a fraudster. Doesn't know what he's doing.
Excuse me, this is not a sports program.
Sack Van Gaal.
Okay, our topic on today's show says pursuing your passion. Mr. Daniel, we had agreed it's a very broad topic. And for the sake of people understanding where you come from, now let me ask you, why did you choose to become an on-air personality?
Wow, it's a big question. It's a combination of many things. Circumstantial, also passion that was not known on time. It's a long story, but I'll try to just cut it short.
Okay, beautiful.
It started about 2007 or thereabout. I was in between not knowing what to do. I taught for a while as a teacher in the school. I worked as a security guard for a while as well, all to just make ends meet. Yeah,
Wow.
trying to just put food on the table.
Wow.
But after a while, I got tired of being in Lagos, doing the same thing in Lagos, and so I decided to move. But even making that decision wasn't very easy. So many things. Where am I moving to? If I move there, what will I do? Those questions kept coming up in my mind. But one day, and I can't forget this day, it's forever etched in my memory. I was doing some laundry, and I heard a song I'd heard many times before. But Two-Face Adibi are doing, I can't remember the title, but the song goes something like, "My guy, I ain't go shopping because it will like say it don't happen." But this one particular line really got to me. Teach you to understand that your destiny is in your hand. And I can tell you, it's like a light bulb just lit up in my head at that point. Something just told me, that's it. Your life, your destiny is in your hands.
Correctly.
If you don't make something good out of it, it's you. If you make something good out of it, it's you. And so at that point, I just realized that, look, it's not about my parents. It's not about my background. It's not about my neighborhood. It's about me. And so I took a step. I said, okay, I was going to just go to Port Harcourt. And so I moved to Port Harcourt. Went back there and started thinking of what to do. So I was in the house one day and I saw this commercial on the TV. If you wanted to be a radio person, if you think you have what it takes to be on radio, come for it. Meanwhile, I'd gone for a radio audition before in Lagos. One time, Rhythm announced they were looking for OAPs, and I went there. And you need to see the crowd, Ike. But thousands of people were there. And I thought, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't possibly make it. Of course, they came and saw the whole crowd and said, okay, look, we're looking for 3 people. Sorry about that. 3 out of thousands that came that day. And I went away. Of course, I was like, okay, I can't make it. I just left. I met a friend of mine that day, somebody I knew in Port Harcourt way back. And he was like, Daniel, what are you doing here? I'm like, I came to try for the audition, so I want to be on Rhythm. He said, man, people too much, people too plenty. I said, man, I'll go out. And I said, but I think you can do this job. I think you're made for radio. I like the way you talk. I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. So, but So I found myself in Port Harcourt, and I heard that. I was like, okay, let me give this a try. Let me go to this place and make inquiries. And so I went there. I heard about the whole thing, and I was really, really excited. I was like, okay, I could do radio. I want to do radio. So I went for the training. It was quite expensive. I didn't have the money. I mean, I had to call my dad and say, hey, Popsy, what's up? Give me money. I told him, I said, this is the last time I'll ask you for money. Just give me money. Let me just pay for this thing. He said, are you sure that's what you want? I said, yes. Last time ever.
Wow.
And I'll add this, 8 years down the line, I've never had cost asking for money anymore.
Impressive.
But I went for the training. I went for the training, and here I am. I'm an OAP.
Beautiful.
Nigeria.
Beautiful. Now let me ask you. In the course of your journey, did you feel discouraged at any point? If yes, how did you handle it?
Oh yeah, many times. The first place I worked for 4 years in that place as an OAP, but on contract basis. Now the salary was about 10,000 naira a month. And sometimes they won't pay you because they'll tell you that, oh look, the gen is bad, we have to fix the gen with the money we're supposed to pay you with, or things like that. So at that point I asked myself, am I on the right track? Are you sure I won't go back to Lagos? Are you sure I won't go back to Popsy and tell him, Popsy, I'm sorry. Popsy, I'm sorry, let me
putting out
exactly. Sorry, I squandered everything you gave me and I'm back here. But I was like, no, it was hard at some point. You're trying to make it and it's not working, trying to get a good job is not working. It was hard, and I tried to, but one thing kept me going, and that is, I just felt I'd come too far to go back.
Exactly.
I'd come too far to go back. I felt it was easier going forward than moving backwards.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so for me, that kept me going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Mr. Daniel, the topic today is pursuing your passion. I want to ask you, what would you say to parents that impose career patterns on their children?
Wow, that's a good one. I'll say right off the bat, parents are making a mistake. Now, I understand as parents, you want the best for your kids.
Definitely.
I understand you want your kid to shine.
Definitely.
To take care of himself, take care of you as well.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you need to understand your child's weaknesses, your child's strengths, and what your child's interests are. If your child doesn't have an interest in medicine, you shouldn't push the child in that direction, no matter what. And you might think that your child won't have as much money or won't make it as big as some others who are engineers or doctors or lawyers, but the truth is, the bottom line is your child will be successful. If your child wants to be a carpenter, encourage the child to be the best carpenter he can be. If your child wants to be a tailor, tell him or tell her, go and be the best tailor you can be. So you becoming famous or you making it in life is not a function of what you do. It's how you do it. It's how you do it. And who's around you, who is in your network, who you liaise with in doing your work. So I just tell parents straight at the bat, look, if you're forcing your kid to pick a career pattern, I think you're making a mistake. Instead, ask the kid, what's your interest? What are your strengths? And then encourage them in that direction.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well said, Mr. Daniel. Now, I know many persons, youth, aspire to be OAPs. I want to ask you, being an OAP, is it a gift or is it something you can train someone into doing?
Both ways. I have colleagues who were trained, but even before the training, you have to have some things. There's some things that are key.
Yes.
You must have a good command of English. That is basic.
Absolutely.
If it's English you're doing or Pidgin English, whatever you're doing.
You do.
Well, you just have to. So whether it's Pidgin English you're doing or English, you just have to have a good grasp of the language.
Good.
That's key.
Good.
Number two, we have a saying that an OAP must know something about everything and everything about something.
Perfect.
Yeah. So for instance, if I'm an expert in, for instance, in microphone making, I should know all about microphones. I should tell you everything I know about microphones. At the same time, I should tell you a bit about your tie, for instance, or your shirt, for instance.
You like my tie?
Yeah, I like your tie. Yeah. So I can tell you a bit about ties, for instance. I can tell you that the many ways to knot a tie. There's the Windsor way. You see, now I'm telling you about the Windsor way of tying a tie. That's something I know because I just have to know. Yeah, so the OAP should know something about everything and everything about something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's key. Good grasp of the language. Of course, somebody who has an ear for information, you always want to know things. Very important as well.
No knowledge is lost.
No knowledge is lost.
Absolutely.
Anything can be a topic.
Exactly.
Anything. So at every point in time, you're thinking of the next thing to talk about.
And it's also like having a guest on your program, right? And you mention something which you don't know about. It's very embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. So you have to be hands and fingers in many pies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you the question that distinguishes our talk show.
Okay.
How long have you been an OAP?
About 8 years now.
Good.
Yeah.
Mr. Daniel, how have you been of impact?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
you're throwing me under the bus now. Okay. You know, one thing, for a long time, I never knew that what I was doing was actually making an impact. For me, it was more or less doing a job and getting paid for it, even though I enjoyed doing the job.
Definitely.
But after a while, I realized something. People started coming to me to say, Daniel, I like what you talked about. It's very good. That issue you discussed, very important. Thank you. You know, I'd have kids come up to me with their parents, say, my child adores you, wants to be like you.
Impressive.
And my neighbors want to ask me, what's going on? Hey, Daniel, I heard about the Senate. Tell me the issue about the Senate. What's really going on? So I found that somehow I became an encyclopedia of sorts to all people.
And without even knowing it.
Without even knowing it.
Exactly.
I'm a very shy person, naturally.
Really?
I'm a shy person. That's why I do radio.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I'm a shy person. And I don't like people. I don't like being the center of attention. I've never liked it. But I find out more and more that things draw me out. Things draw me out. I want to put me on the center stage. So for me, for the fact that people can now say, Daniel said this that day. Daniel was right about that thing he discussed. For me, that's a big deal. It shows that whatever I discuss has a way it, permeates through society and eventually gets to the ears of those who are important, who can deal with the situation or affect the situation. So I'm the people's voice, and that gives me great joy.
Beautiful,
yeah.
Beautiful. Well said. Very well said. Viewers, still to come, our guest provides answer to our question of the day, gets to vent about something, and of course, our quote of the day. Terry is telling me they're taking us on a break.
Okay. All right. So it's still Impact Formula with I Gwachuku. We're going to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back for more. Do stay tuned.
I like that. Thank you very much.